Welcome back, CEO. You're listening to the CEO Shift Show, where overwhelmed operators rise into scalable leaders. I'm your host, Carol Serby, business coach, systems strategist, helping service-based CEOs stop duct taping their businesses together and start building operations that they can trust. If you're here, it's because you're not playing the build a fancy business game. You're building something that matters, something that will outlive your energy on a tired Friday afternoon, something you can eventually step back from and not drown in. And this podcast, this movement, it's all about one thing: helping you stop treating your business like a job and start scaling it like the asset it was meant to be. Before we jump in, do the human thing that helps us all grow in this movement. Like, share, subscribe. Your engagement helps more overwhelmed service-based CEOs find their way out of chaos and into clarity. All right, let's get into it. We're here to tell the truth today. The truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Most CEOs don't have an operations problem. They have a capacity problem that are wearing operational masks. If your inbox is a disaster, if your team is asking the same question more than twice, if your calendar feels like a treadmill, that's not an operational gap. It's a capacity gap pretending to be an operational issue. And right now, this is the time of the year where the fatigue gets real. My clients show up to December calls with brains full of random to-dos, no idea where their bottlenecks actually are, and even sometimes a sense of, well, that was a wasted year, and exhaustion from trying to keep every ball in the air. For small businesses, this seems to be the norm. And I want you to know that it's fixable. So today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the top 3 operational breakdowns that crushed CEOs in 2025. And more importantly, how we can fix it. Because clarity is power. And right now, you need both. I want to take you behind the scenes of some real coaching conversations that I had in 2025. These aren't hypothetical examples. These are actual CEOs with actual business, actual stress, and their actual wins, who walked into my calls overwhelmed and walked out with clarity. Their stories show you what operational breakdowns really look like, and more importantly, what it feels like when you fix them. So let's start with the first one. Case study number 1. I'm on Zoom with a team. There's 4 of them, each carrying a different piece of the company on their shoulders. And the energy, you can definitely feel the strain. The office manager looked tired, and subsequently she was sick for about a month. The owner was frustrated, and the 2 team members looked like they were really trying hard not to step on anyone's toes. And none of them were on the same page. Their pricing templates were outdated. Their meetings were wandering all over the place. They were losing hours every week simply because no one knew the plan. And here's the thing, they were all doing their best. They just didn't have a structure. They didn't have clarity. And without clarity, even the best team can't win. So we rebuilt a whole bunch of things. And it didn't take long. 90 minutes, we installed a meeting rhythm. 90 minutes, we clarified who owned what. 90 minutes, we actually create clarity and rebuilt sections of their pricing structure. We set expectations, and we got things out of everyone's head and into a system. The moment that call ended, the transformation, it was immediate. You could hear the relief and the weight. It dropped off of their shoulders. They finally had a sense of, okay, we can breathe again. That's what operational clarity feels like. It's not more work. It actually ends up being less. Case study number 2. This story is one of my favorites this year because it shows you how quickly things can turn when you fix the right things. My client came to me. He wasn't drowning, but he was quietly sinking. He ended last year down $30,000, and he couldn't see where the money was going. He was working hard. He cared. He delivered a really great service, but the numbers, they just weren't matching the effort. And then he did something powerful, something that all of you can do. He took responsibility for his systems. He cleaned up his estimating process. Admittedly, he had to adjust his pricing. He created some mini SOPs using the SOP builder to get his workflow out of his head. We fixed his financial discipline, and he started using handoff AI, which cut his estimating time down dramatically and improved the accuracy overnight. So here's the part that hit him the hardest. He was undercharging a little bit. We fixed that. His systems were leaking a lot. We patched those leaks. We tightened the process. We installed a rhythm. And by the next 3 quarters, he swung from a $30K loss last year to a $30K profit on one job in 5 weeks. That wasn't luck. It wasn't working harder. That was operations. It was clarity. It was discipline. And it was leadership. Case study number 3. This one's miraculous. Now, this client is a business owner with grit and heart and a sense of humor. He could carry a whole crew through a long winter. We started the call talking about hunting because, of course, that's what we both do. He had just harvested a 600-pound cow elk, and he was proud, and he should have been. But minutes later, we shifted into the real conversation because behind that win, the business had been cracking. Job site had been shut down due to someone illegally tapping into a city water meter. Just to be clear, it wasn't his team. Equipment was delayed. His crew was frustrated. His leadership team was having a hard time managing the delay because they didn't know who owned what. He was carrying all the pressure alone. Now, would we call that failing? No, I wouldn't call that failing. But what it was is he was outgrowing the old way of running the business. So we went deep. We considered his new equipment strategy. We mapped out a production flow. We clarified leadership and accountability. And we aligned his 2025 goals with his actual capacity, not the fantasy version of what he thinks his capacity might be. And then suddenly, the chaos started to make sense. He didn't need to work harder. He needed the business to hold itself up. He needed the structure to match the weight of the company he was actually running, not the one he used to run. And once that all clicked, the entire culture, it shifted. These CEOs, all in different industry, all faced different problems on the surface. But under the hood, it was absolutely the same thing. There was no standard operating procedures. It was lack of clarity. It was lack of operating rhythms and no lanes of responsibility. Their businesses weren't broken. They were simply outgrowing their systems. And when you fix the real operational breakdown, now you get clearer meetings, stable profit, a calmer team, a lighter brain, more capacity, better leadership, and a business that stops pulling you under. Now that you've heard the real stories, let's break down the 3 operational breakdowns that cause these problems and how you can fix them before 2026 hits. Number 1 is chaos-based production, when everything lives in your head. You know this one. It's when your team says, just tell me how you want it done, because there's no documented process anywhere. If you disappear for a week, half your business would grind to a halt. It's not because your team doesn't care, but because your brain is the only source of truth. This year, I've watched CEO after CEO try to grow without their standard operating procedures. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, construction, coaching, cleaning, consulting, the moment your business grows faster than your documentation, things break. So here's what chaos-based production actually costs you. It drains your personal capacity because you're always the hub. It destroys consistency because everyone's improvising. And it kills efficiency because work has to get redone. And it eats profit because nothing is predictable. So chaos isn't a character flaw. It's just the absence of structure. And structure, when we install simple SOPs with my clients, when we restructured meetings with the team, when we built job flows with my other client, everything stabilized because the business was no longer floating in their heads. The fix is almost boringly simple. It was 1 standard operating procedure a week, 1 documented process at a time. Your future scalability is built on these tiny bricks. Number 2, reactive workflows. When your week runs you. This one hurt most of my clients this year. A reactive workflow is living in permanent firefighting mode. It's waking up every morning wondering what's coming for me today instead of knowing exactly what the week holds. When you live reactively, your team can't plan, your client feel the instabilities, your margins quietly slip, and you start to lose trust in your own business. This shows up in almost every call I have in December. I don't know what to focus on. I'm always behind. I thought we fixed this already. And it's like everything is urgent. And here's the CEO truth. If you don't have a weekly rhythm as a CEO, your business will always outrun you. And when we implemented weekly rhythms for clients, their transformation was immediate. My other client stopped dropping important financial habits. And Chris moved his team from everything is on fire to now everything is predictable. Your business finds its calm when you do. One rhythm, one weekly reset. Everything stops spinning. So number 3, owner bottlenecking. What happens when every decision flows through you? This is the most expensive operational breakdown of all. Owner bottlenecking is when the team is waiting for your approval. You have to touch everything twice. You are the only decision maker. And every question seems to boomerang right back into your inbox. And secretly, this one, it always comes from a good place. It's because you care about quality. You care about your clients. You care about doing it right. But there comes a point in every CEO's evolution where caring now becomes the bottleneck. And you can feel this in your body. It's the tight chest. It's the constant pressure. It's the decision fatigue and not enough mental space. This past year, the strongest CEOs I worked with were the ones who finally admitted that it's not my team, it's me. I'm the one standing in the way. And once we built the lanes of responsibility, once we defined ownership and outcome, once they stopped being the final brain, the entire company, they shift. So we need to look at delegation not as a task, but as an identity. This is a trust structure and a leadership promise. And when you step into that truly, your business finally unlocks scalability. So these 3 breakdowns, chaos-based production, the reactive workflow, the owner bottlenecking, they're not signs that you're failing. They're signs that the business, as you have done it, is now ready to evolve. This is the evolution that separates operators from scalable CEOs. Now, let's talk about the tools that actually solve these problems. Because wishing for clarity won't solve your operations gaps. Systems will. So here are the exact tools that my clients use to create the transformations I shared earlier. And the tools that you have access to inside the Scalable CEO Academy. The weekly CEO rhythm template, this gives you the planning structure that eliminates reactive workflow. One rhythm, one weekly reset, everything changes. The mini SOP builder, this is where the chaos ends. It helps you document processes at a pace that doesn't overwhelm you or your team. The time leverage blueprint, this helps you reclaim your capacity so you stop becoming the bottleneck. And the ecosystem builder, this clarifies exactly what you're selling and how it's fulfilled, so your team isn't building everything from scratch. We also have tools that guide you through fulfillment, tools that identify exact points where your delivery is breaking and what to fix first. These aren't the nice to have tools. These are the backbone of a scalable business. And for CEOs who are ready to shift into asset building, these are the tools that create calm, order, and profitability. Next week, we're doing something super powerful, something I've never walked you through on the podcast before. Going to do your 2025 CEO audit. We're going to break down what actually worked this year, what quietly cracked, What habits carried you, what systems need to evolve, and how to enter 2026 clearer, calmer, and more confident than you've ever been. So, if you're looking to reset your leadership identity before January hits, don't miss next week's episode. All right, CEO, let's talk next steps. Because listening is good, but implementing, that's where your identity shifts. So you have 3 pathways to work with me, depending on how fast you want to move and how much support you need around you. We have the DIY systems. This is build your system yourself at your own pace. It's available at the Scalable CEO Academy. And this is where you get every tool, every template, every SOP builder, and every training designed to help you scale without overwhelm. We have the scalableCEOacademy.com for the CEO who wants structure, clarity, and self-paced growth. We also have the Done With You program for executive, one-to-one, or team coaching. If you want me in your corner, helping you rebuild your business rhythm, solve your bottlenecks, and stabilize your operations, book a coaching call. This is where you and me, we do it together. This is perfect for CEOs who want accountability, strategic insight, and a thinking partner. And then we have the Done For You systems. If you want it all handled for you, you want your system, your SOP, your workflows, your operation stack built without you touching the back end, book a consult and we'll map out the right Done For You package. This is your fastest path to time freedom. So just remember, your business is a tool, not your identity. And when it's built right, it finally supports the life that you're actually trying to live. We'll see you next week, CEO.